Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Practice. We are on practice number 2 on the subject of single variable quadratic equations. So we are currently working on the trinomial. If you didn't see the introduction and practice 1, I beg you, go see it. It's important for you to understand what we are doing right here. So here we have the parabola representation of this equation right here, meaning that if we're going to put y here, we're going to get this parabola. And I used a quite nice graphic calculator on the web to do this representation right here. So just write in Google graphic calculator, you're going to get this on one of the first results. And let's see what we're going to do here. Here, this equation is special, right? Because we have an x squared. We don't have a factor of an x here, right? We don't have a constant time the variable x on to the power of 1. We don't have it here. Where is it? But we do have the c factor, right? So don't worry, we always have the some kind of a factor time x to the power of 1, but it's multiplied by 0. So let's convert this. Now we see it. So the b factor is just 0. That is why we didn't saw it earlier, which is awesome. This is great. It doesn't matter to us. Still, we can do the trinomial. We can ask what two numbers I can add to get 0 and multiply them to get -4. And the answer is -2 and 2, right? So after we identified u1 and u2, let's build the trinomial together and demand what we want to demand from the for the equation to be true, meaning that this side should be 0. So let's demand x plus 2 is equal to 0. We're going to get x equal to -2. And let's demand x minus 2 equal to 0. And then we're going to get x is equal to 2. So let's do another one. Okay, so here we have another special case situation. But before we're going to deal with it, I want you to divide this thing to be in the right factoring, right? We want the preceding factor of x squared to be 1. So divide it, take a minute, do it yourself, and I'll see you in 1 minute. Pause the video now. All right, I assume you did it. And after factoring, after dividing by the factor of 3, we're going to get this result. And what do we have here? Here we have an a, right? A is equal to 1. We have a b equal to -4, but we don't have a c. Well, actually, we do have the constants c. It's just equal to 0. All right, no problem. We can still ask the question. Which two numbers, u1 and u2, I need to add up to get -4? And which one? And these two numbers need also to be multiplied to give me a 0. So I'll let you go and ask the question by yourself. So pause the video now and answer them yourself. Pause. Great. I hope you did it. I assume you did it. And I hope you got this result. Well, -4 plus 0 is -4. Great. And -4 times 0 is 0. Right? So we have the factors u1 and u2 we need for the factoring, for the trinomial. So this is what we get. We got rid of this 0 right here. It's unnecessary. And this is the trinomial. We get a factor here times a factor there. Right. So let's check. If this 0 right here, okay, if this x, is equal to 4, this factor will be 0, right? And if this x is equal to 0, well, all of it is going to be also 0. So great. So we solved it. So sometimes you're going to get this situation right here, but you always can use a trinomial. But you can also simply take an x factor out to get this shape directly, right? So choose whatever way you want to do it, just have it in the way that you have a multiplication of factor shape. So let's summarize. So in summary of the trinomial method, what we want to do is that we want to get the parabola shape, the quadratic equation shape, sorry, and we want to represent it as a multiplication of factor. And this equality means that this thing must be equal to 0, which can be gained by setting this factor to 0 or setting this factor to be 0. And the setting of these factors to 0 is what gives us the x1 and x2 we need. So if there is a solution, meaning that the parabola is touching the x-axis on 1 point or 2 points, we can use the trinomial method. It's not going to work if the parabola is hovering above the x-axis. So if you are searching for solutions, if you're searching for u1 and u2 and you just can't think of two factors that give you what you need, maybe the parabola is just hovering above the x-axis. So don't waste a lot of time on it. But we're going to solve the problem by using the quadratic formula later. Trinomial method is often beneficial, okay? Meaning, when I use the trinomial method, I gain an understanding about what I'm doing that I'm not going to get by using the quadratic formula. Because the quadratic formula is kind of a calculator. You just plug in the values and you get the result. There is not a lot of understanding there. But you can gain understanding by using something inside the quadratic formula called the determinant. And we're going to elaborate it on practice number 3 and 4. So don't worry about it. Also, if the solutions are not trivial, meaning they are irrational numbers or hard fractions, the quadratic formula can be beneficial, okay, just for time purposes, not to waste a lot of time guessing what u1 and u2 is, okay? So homework, guys. This is your homework. I want you to solve these 4 exercises, and in red there are the answers, okay? And I want you to solve them. If you're having problem with this one, I want you to go back, watch the introduction, and watch practice number 1 again. And after you do that, I believe that you will solve them. If you don't, just write in the comments or ask the community here in the comments, and I'm sure you're going to get a lot of help from me and from the other people in the community. So I'm going to see you later, where we're going to work on the quadratic formula in practice 3, 4, and the bonus lesson that I'm excited for you to see. So I'm going to see you later. Bye, guys.